Hey guys, so glad to have you here. In this video, I wanted to address something that comes up a lot on my channel. People who I have never met, I've never seen your skin type, I don't know your whole story, but I get asked for a product recommendation here. They're a specific item. Maybe it's a foundation, a lip product, a blush, and you want it to be from the drugstore, and I try to give you my best suggestions. So I thought, what about doing a video where I cram all those suggestions basically just into one place? Because I know the drugstore can be overwhelming. I feel like new products are launching faster than ever before, and that goes for high-end as well. And while I think a lot of people who are here at my channel watching videos are pretty makeup obsessed and really into this stuff, and you have a lot of makeup, there are so many people who arrive here and they're just starting out. Like, I hear that story a lot and they just don't know where to begin. So if you've got a friend who's kind of in that boat, definitely refer them to this video and have them subscribe, and thank you for subscribing as well. But in this video, I will be running down a list of 10 products that I would put under the universally flattering category. I've been thinking about this now for the last 1.5 to 2 weeks, trying to come up with some things that I think really anybody could pick up and have good luck with. A good gauge of this is I think about things that work well on me, but have or would also work well on my mom. You know, she's used a lot of products that I've recommended too. She's 70, has different kinds of skin concerns and staying power concerns. So I'm going to be sharing with you 10 great products. It's not necessarily every single product to do a full face, and I'll probably kind of explain why as I go. I think it's really hard for certain things to be universally workable, and sometimes I get going on these video ideas and I don't want it to become a thing where I'm just coming up with a recommendation just for the sake of recommending it. I just want these to be like the handful of things that I just know to be really, really good, right? So enough with the intro, let's just jump in. I do have a foundation that I feel comfortable recommending and calling it like across the board a good pick. I truly think this could work on any skin type. The one downfall of this line would be the shade range, particularly where the darker skin tones are concerned. That's the one issue you're going to run into with this if you are a darker skin tone, but it's the Rimmel Lasting Finish Foundation. Guys, this has been a great foundation from the start of my channel. That was years and years ago. I wear this in the shade Soft Beige. There's nothing really gimmicky about it. I mean, it's just a liquid foundation. It feels pretty typical in terms of the consistency. It's not too like thin and watery, but it's not ultra thick and mousse-like either. Used to be in a squeezy tube, which I actually preferred, but I am wearing this today. I wear this a lot, and it's just kind of one of those foundations you keep coming back to. Now, my mom with more mature skin, she has also used and enjoyed this. She's also a fan of the It Cosmetics CC cream as well. This does contain SPF 20. I like applying it with either a brush or a beauty blender. I think it really looks beautiful either way. And what's so interesting to me about this foundation is it's worked for my skin as it's evolved through different skin types. If you were with me like right when my channel started, I was definitely a combo to oily type skin type, and this was really my go-to. It worked so well. It got me through like long days at work at the TV station and stuff. Out in the elements, it still really wore well and it looked good on camera. I've had times where I've gone through dry patchiness on my skin, and this still even looked good and almost managed to conceal or balance those areas a little bit more, which was really strange, but it worked. And for now, and I would say most of the time over the past couple years, I've been a pretty normal skin type, and this is just fine for me too. And I find myself looking up close at my skin right after I put it on, and I think, yes, this looks so good. This looks so natural. This is one of the cheapest foundations in the drugstore. It's not going to get you up to that $10 mark, you know. But above all, it lasts. I mean, this kind of reminds me of the look that new CoverGirl Elixir foundation is giving me right after application. You know, it looks kind of fresh. It's not exaggerating any of the bad stuff, and it's not looking too makeup-y, and I love those foundations for that. But this one can wear all day on me. That's the difference. So this is my plea to Rimmel. Please put out more shades of this product because you've got a fantastic formula. And maybe if you couldn't even find your perfect shade, you could do a little mixing foundation cocktail type deal and create a shade that would be really good for you. I don't know, but if you can find your shade, this is a really great foundation. Another thing that I think really anybody could pick up and use and have great success with is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser product here. And the reason why this stands out to me so much is it's kind of like my gold standard standard of drugstore, all over the face type concealers. And this says eraser for dark circles on here, but I can use it anywhere on my face. It comes in a range of skin tone shades, and then there's a brightener color, and there's also this shade that I've been using most lately, and it's called Neutralizer. And as you can see, I've used about a little over half of it, and it's a really great shade on me for this whole area down the nose. It really seems to do a good job on dark circles. And what's so special about this is it manages to be a really thin consistency, but still good coverage. So many drugstore concealers, it seems like they thin out to nothing, and it's like, okay, this really does have good coverage. I don't think it gets clingy to areas where there's a lot of texture. It's totally the type of thing I feel like I could give to mom and say, here, you want a good concealer? Try this, because I'm not sure that she's tried this one. Now, a powder, the kind of powder I feel like I could recommend to anyone is definitely L'Oreal True Match. I'm holding this here in the shade Buff Beige, wearing this today as with all of these products, and this is one of the best, I think, drugstore powder textures. Another texture that I think is really good from the drugstore is the Revlon Nearly Naked, but that comes in like only 3 shades, so definitely a better shade range here. Here's what you do. Grab a L'Oreal True Match foundation and mix it with some of this, because that's a decent formula as well. If you need a darker shade, try that, see how it goes. But this powder is so velvety and soft, it makes a really nice touch-up powder. Or today for this look, it's just my all-over setting powder. This has been one of those things, again, for years I've been using this and enjoying it. And frankly, sometimes I feel like I apply too much of it, and it still saves me because it doesn't look like too much really at any point. So I love that stuff. Let's talk Universally Flattering blush. I went back and forth on this one quite a bit, but the more I kind of wear and test this one, the more I think this is the one. And it's the Milani Blush in Romantic Rose. Hair is just floating by my face. Now, this line of blushes as a whole is very like top-notch quality. We're talking matte blushes, but they don't look like overly dry on the skin. They're just nicely pigmented, rich blushes. If you're a richer skin tone and you need something brighter or more vibrant, they do have other shades, but this Romantic Rose I really do feel could suit most people. And I'm wearing that today. I just think it's just about perfect. You know, it's that rosy flush. It can work with any kind of lip color. I wouldn't feel funny about wearing a red lip with this on my cheeks. I wouldn't feel funny about this more nudie pink lip that I've got today. And is that not gorgeous? I mean, who doesn't want to look at that and pop that compact open every time? Milani has made some standout blushes in the past, and they continue to do so with these rose ones. So snatch one of those up. Universally Flattering highlight. I've talked about this one in the past too. It's the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. The shade is Be My Highlight 01, and it looks, I think, borderline golden. You see, when it's not in direct light, it looks like maybe is that too deep? But what's special about this is with the application from a brush, when it gets sheared out on the skin, it looks like just a transparent glow across your skin. You know what I mean? I don't see a thickness of goldeny color. I just see this really natural looking glow on the skin. And yes, I would even recommend this to my mom, who is definitely not trying to exaggerate any sort of lines on her skin, but certain places, you know, you pop a little bit right out here on the fullest part of your cheek, and I don't care what skin type you are, that's gonna look radiant. It's gonna look really nice on top of a matte blush. This could make a pretty glowy, just quick swipe it on as eyeshadow type thing too. It's buildable, so you can add a little more if you want a stronger type of glow, but it can also be very, very light. And just like I said, keep in mind, when you apply this in its lightest sense, I don't think it shows up as color. It just shows up as this wonderful little bit of a slightly dewy sheen on the skin. Going into some eye stuff. What's the first thing I'm going to recommend? Anyone? Anyone? Who's got the answer out there? This Milani eyeshadow primer. Everybody needs to be using an eyeshadow primer. You don't need to be spending 25, 30 bucks on one. Just get this one from the drugstore. I've gone through, I'm not sure how many tubes of this, but yet I don't go through it super fast because I only use a little bitty amount. Like one small bit between 2 eyes, okay? Rub it between your fingers, tap it all over the lid, through the crease, up to the eyebrow. And what that's gonna do is allow your powder shadows to be more intense because they've got that little teeniest bit of tackiness to cling to. That's the fine line that some primers walk, is because some will be too tacky and then you just end up with a creasy mess. This allows those shadows to adhere, last better throughout the day, but also seem more intense. So your cheaper shadows that just look like nothing when you didn't have a primer first, they will actually show on top of this. There's a reason why I give this thing such high praise all the time. time. It was a major player in the Emily Awards this past year. It is just one of those standout basics that everyone needs. Now, eyeshadow. Is there a universally workable eyeshadow for everyone? From the drugstore, I do think there's something you can grab that everybody would be impressed with quality-wise, and the tones would be workable for everyone. So I think I've found it, and it's the Milani Must Have Naturals Everyday Eyes palette. These palettes are really great. There are definitely plenty of other shade options, and I know some people prefer to go warm, but this very neutral color palette is something I think everybody can use and look good in, and I'm talking for any occasion. You want a smoky eye? It's in here. You want everyday look for work that's matte? That's in here. You want something with just a little bit of a fun shimmery pop on the lid? You can do that with this palette. Seriously, these are so good. And for the size of this palette, it's so small, and yet you're getting a fully matte black and a matte brown. So those are two great, like, standard things to have. That could be your eyeliner, you know, this could be your smudgy liner too. This matte kind of transition-y shade, these two are shimmers right here, so kind of some accent colors, and this one with just a little hint of peach in it. And so I am wearing that palette today. I've got this color on my lid, a mix of these two in the crease. So I like to kind of dab and dab right between those two, and it's my perfect brownish crease color. This shade is my highlight, and then I've got a lot of this brown like just smudged on the lower lash line, giving me that nice kind of smoky effect. So good. Great quality and just workable for any circumstance. Mascaras. One thing I've learned in all these years on YouTube is that you're never going to please everybody with your mascara pick. You know, you might find something that a lot of people like, but there's always that group of people that it's just not going to work for. And that's not about someone trying to be difficult and naysaying or anything like that. It's that we all have different hair for our eyelashes. You know, some people have curly, some people have straight, some point down, some point up. Some have brunette lashes, some have blonde lashes. We've all got a really specific and different need, I think, for our lashes. You know how I feel about CoverGirl Supersizer. That for me works really well. I love the length, I love the application, but it's not everyone's favorite. What I am going to throw out here for you though is if you need something that's waterproof, you want the CoverGirl Clump Crusher water resistant. This would be the universally flattering option for that specific purpose, and I use it pretty much daily on the lower lashes. But if it's a really important event and I suspect there may be tears, I'll wear this all over. There's not a bride who I've put this on who has had mascara smudges. I've worn this through funerals. I've worn this through childbirth. It does not go anywhere until you take it off, and even then it's not a huge pain in the rear to take off. So yeah, maybe for your day-to-day mascara, what's going to work best on those upper lashes, we all have a different idea of what's great for that, but I do think if you need a waterproof mascara, this is the bomb. And an important detail about this, not only does it last, but it's very easy to apply. That brush is definitely not too big. It doesn't have super huge, long, obnoxious bristles, so you can really get in there close to your lash line and not be scared about like that dreaded, you know, tapping the mascara wand on your skin and stuff like that. Lips, I thought long and hard about because my mom and I are kind of in two different worlds on lip products. She is a diehard fan of the CoverGirl Outlast type of thing. Like the liquid lipstick world that's happening right now, that is my mom's jam because she does not like a lip product to budge anywhere, and she feels like fine lines around the lips can start to collect product and it starts to drift outside the lip line, and she always claims that as you get older you start to lose a nice strong lip line anyway. But the problem with some of those Outlast type products, as we all know, they can be drying, and sometimes the way they wear off is not always flattering. So here's my universally flattering lip picks. If you have not yet done so, everybody needs to try a NYX Slide-On Lip Pencil. These things, now these are not brand new. I have probably had these over a year at this point, and they still glide on every bit as buttery, creamy, smooth as I could want. But they actually set and do not move outside the lip line. I am totally gonna get my mom on board with this idea because I think, you know, she could fill in her lips, she could have all of that precision, you know, that she wants for the lip line, but I really don't see these drifting at all because sometimes I'll see drifting if a product is gonna be prone to doing that. I can see that on my own lips too. These never do that, even in the deepest, richest colors in this line. But if we're talking universally flattering, I think nude suede shoes, if you really like light, soft, neutral lips, this is beautiful. Or if you want a soft pink, I think Bed Rose is the best pick. And these are going to be the kind of pencils that you sharpen. They're not retractable. And I am wearing a mix of these two on my lips today. The majority of the color that you see on my lips right now is coming from a combo of these two. If you want to just put these on and wear them alone, you will have a pretty like matte lip look. Your lips lips won't feel overly dry, but they will stay in place for sure. And they won't be peeling off in that kind of like separate layer of product coming off your lips the way some liquid lipsticks do. But what I'm also wearing on my lips, and what is also I think a universally flattering recommendation here in this video, is that Neutrogena Revitalizing Lip Balm. I talked about this in my last haul. This is kind of a rediscovered item that I went out and bought again. It has the SPF 20 sunscreen in here, and you might be saying, well, why this and not one of those, you know, jumbo lip pencils that Neutrogena puts out, the Moisture Smooth Color Sticks. You know I love those. But again, I come back to thinking, what about people of a certain age who have a lot of trouble with drifting outside the lips? That might be even too creamy, especially if you get into some of the really colorful shades. But these balms, you know, they're not too much color-wise. So if you just wanted a slight tint of something on your lips, that's kind of what these give you. But do you see what I'm saying here? Because they're not too rich and intense, I think anybody of any lip type could wear them. So I've got the soft caramel, and that's what I put on top of those lip liners. So what I end up with is a really comfortable feel. This is such a comfortable lip balm to have on. It's not too thin, not too thick. And does it not make the most beautiful nude with a hint of pink? I'm telling you, you've got to try those lip balms and put them on top of a great lip liner, and I think you'll have a really long-lasting but good feeling look. I think that's just the cocktail for a great lip color right there. So that's it, my friends, for 10 products. It just happened to be 10 universally flattering products that I think anybody could pick up from the drugstore and have great success with. Again, I've thought about this list a lot, but I didn't want to really think it out to the point that I was recommending things to you that I was like trying to come up and dig up something. I wanted it to be like naturally great products. Again, with the mascara, you might like Supersizer the way I do. You might have to do a little more digging and trial and error to really come up with a great mascara that you love. Same deal with eyeliner. Like, I love my Jordana Color Envy and Black Envy. It's a great waterproof black liquid liner, but there are some people out there who say, I never want to use liquid liner. So there's the creams, and then there's the pencils, and then is there enough color selection? So I just wasn't really settling in on something that I wanted to recommend there. And kind of the same deal with brows also. So many brow needs, you know, dealing with those brow hairs. Some people are starting from nothing. Some people have a big brow. They just need to fill in a bit. Some of these things you've heard my recommendations on in the past, but to really hone in on something that's going to work specifically for you, there might be some trial and error involved. But hopefully this video can take away, for the most part, a lot of that trial and error for you. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys later. Bye.